really mean much. It's going to be the way Maryland as a team responds to the pressure that Carolina is going to apply early in this game.
Our front page in today's game, the 8th seed there, you see Maryland against North Carolina, and it's going to have to be the front line 5 because the bench doesn't give much to Maryland. Tar Heels, when they shoot better than 50%, are a perfect 18-0. Remember, yesterday North Carolina State shot only 30% against the Maryland Terrapins. That's a look at our front page, and now we are ready for our first semifinal of the afternoon at the Omni. Tommy Massenberg and Scott Williams to jump center, and we'll be underway. These two clubs met in the semifinals a year ago, and North Carolina a winner in that one. So this is a second straight year Maryland's made it this far. The tap will be controlled by Dickerson in Maryland. Nard, who played so well yesterday, picked up by Lebo at the point. Dickerson. And he'll bring it back, and Maryland will set again. As they did yesterday, they will use a lot of time. Baseline shot doesn't go, and Lebo the rebound.
Well, that time Maryland started out with their semi-stall. That may have been even a quicker shot than normal, if you consider yesterday normal.
I doubt that they'll ever consider yesterday normal, will they? North Carolina, who eased by Georgia Tech yesterday with no problem, really. J.R. Reed. And J.R. picks up where he left off yesterday.
Well, in that particular play, J.R. had plenty of room in the paint right there. Dave Dickerson didn't really push up. And maybe Maryland is falling back a bit, recognizing they've got a long 39 minutes left. Williams almost has it stolen by Reed. On the outside, the three-pointer will not go by Johnson. And it's pulled down in North Carolina with a 2-point cushion in the basketball. Maryland showed maybe a lack of patience again in comparison to yesterday, because that was still a quick shot, only a few seconds off the 45 seconds off. Bucknell feeds in low. Williams turnaround jumper on the baseline doesn't go. Dickerson high for the rebound. Remember, it's important that Maryland get off to a good start, because slowing down the pace really doesn't help you when you're down 6, 8, 10 points. Yesterday, they got off to that good start, and everybody waited for them to crack, and they never did. Upset North Carolina State. The trap. Lebo knocks it away from Nard, but last touch by Lebo, so it'll be Maryland ball in the front court. If you recognize where Greg Nard picked up the ball, picked up his dribble, that's really the wrong place to go, because you really can't go back to back court. It's not that much room there, and it's difficult for the cutters to come and see you. If you're going to pick up your dribble, do it in the middle of the court. Williams, double team. Dickerson with a hook pass, and now they work it down inside to Johnson. Johnson goes up, and he is fouled. And you could almost see John Johnson off that dribble make a decision to penetrate. He started to go laterally, and here he decides, whoop, I got an opening, and steps right in and draws the foul. 5 Carolina players around him. Someone reached in. Jeff Lebo, the man that reached in low, and Johnson will go to the free throw line. Yesterday, Johnson with 23 points, and he was 13 of 15 from the line. So he did his work from the stripe yesterday, but he doesn't pick it up today, missing the first one. Johnson, really the twinkle in the NC State game. I'm sure the weight of Bob Wade's absence may still weigh heavily. 2-1, North Carolina. Chilcutt in the paint. He'll leave it off for Williams, who lost it going up. And that's what Maryland did so often in North Carolina State early yesterday, causing some turnovers down low. And the Terrapins have a chance to lead. Again, Nard picks up his dribble in the wrong spot. Good movement by John Johnson to make himself available. Johnson with Bucknell on him in the North Carolina man-to-man. Pass goes in low. Dickerson short off the glass. Almost got his own rebound, but Reed will pull it away. J.R. ahead to Bucknell. Maryland back nicely to stop the transition run. Bucknell all alone for the three. And Steve Bucknell, he's been a threat out there all year. He's the kind of guy that doesn't really shoot a jump shot from there. But with his tall frame, he's able to get a push shot off over most guards. And that time, Greg Nard didn't even contest it with a hand. His 55th three-pointer of the year. Inside, Massenberg touching it for the first time and had it partially blocked. And Carolina comes back with a 5-1 lead. Lebo all the way to the baseline, and he walks. Also, the big men for Carolina stepping into the paint with very little problem here. And Maryland's going to have to watch that. I know they're trying to stay out of foul trouble, but when you're down 15 or 20, it doesn't do you any good. Nard handles the cross-court pass and goes right back in the far corner to Johnson. Johnson puts it up. It comes away to Lebo. Lebo
Libo brings it down 1-on-3 and pulls up. Now into J.R. Reed. J.R. double team, but his hook shot. Junior forward has his first point. I'll make it J.R. Reed converts both. And Maryland now will see some backcourt pressure from Jeff Libo. He comes up one-on-one with Nard. There's the trap. And over through Johnson.
Way Carolina maybe lulled Maryland into a false sense of security, and Greg Nard and John Johnson just miscommunicated, because I'm sure they worked on that consistently.
And they got some pressure from NC State yesterday and had no trouble with it.
Different kind of pressure.
It sure is. Bucknell on top. Here's Rick Fox. Fox adjusted his shot in mid-flight and maybe shouldn't have. And the rebound comes off to John Johnson. Nard brings it up. Maryland trailing by 6 as we're 4 minutes into this semifinal ball game. Nard on the drive. Nice cross-court pass. Massenberg off the glass with his first basket.
Maryland earlier yesterday, it was the Nard-Massenberg connection that got them off to a good lead. Tony Massenberg's got to make himself.
Not wanting to pick up his third foul. And Fox hits both free throws.
And Brad, against this full-court pressure by Carolina, if you look at both teams, it looks as though the coaches have kind of reeled them in a bit because they're afraid of fatigue. Both teams seemingly want to run, but they have that hesitancy about them.
North Carolina doesn't have to worry about it as much, that's for sure, than Maryland. Johnson, Bucknell with some good defense. Here's Nard at the top of the key. He got away with a little shove on Fox, who picks him up out high again.
The loss of a guy like Tony Massenberg with good hands and good moves inside really puts an awful lot of pressure on an already fragile Maryland offense.
And the shot clock down to 6. Somebody's going to have to do something. Johnson's shot doesn't go, but it's followed by Lewis.
Well, that time with the shot clock running down, Carolina defenders just stood around and watched John Johnson shoot the ball. Cedric Lewis slices in nicely.
Libo, far corner. Picked up by Dickerson, brings it back out on top. Nice job. Nard almost had the steal, and there is the steal. In the paint, Williams picks it off. And a 9-5 game. Maryland can cut it down to 2.
And it's the pace of this game on that last possession by Carolina that frustrates a lot of teams who like to run. And when they get frustrated, they start to take chances with the pass.
Paul Hausman makes the call. Again, the bench. Ron Bradley doesn't like the 5-second call. There's a steal from behind.
Again, that type of pass right there is the kind that is made when a team is frustrated. They want to make the final pass and get a score.
The 5-second call, the second turnover against Maryland, gives it back to North Carolina with a 4-point lead. Fox, the pass into Chilcutt. He tried to leave it for Williams. Last touch by one of the Maryland players. Apparently Williams got a hand on it, or Lewis.
Pass. I mean, someone wants to make the pass that leads to the score. Sometimes the play needs 2 or 3 passes to help the play develop. Again, same type of pass.
Williams picked up the loose ball, didn't get anything with it, can't tip it in, and this time it'll be Maryland ball. And now we got a little shoving match between Dickerson and Williams, and now Dickerson and Fox. And Paul Hausman's going to step in a hurry and try to break that up. Obviously, Maryland can't lose any players to disqualification, or they're really shorthanded.
No, you're absolutely right, and Dave Dickerson has got to maintain his cool. While you don't want to be pushed around and you don't want to be abused, you got to recognize the task at hand, and that's to win a basketball game. You know, you can sell all the wolf cookies you want after the game, and I'll explain wolf cookies later for you.
Lewis in the front court slows it for Dickerson. Dean Smith still screaming at the officials about the fact that Williams and Fox were both shoved by Maryland players and that nothing was called. Pass in low. Lewis can't handle it. Chilcutt last touched it, though. And Maryland with 22 on the shot clock will inbound on the baseline.
And there you see the difference between a Tony Massenberg and a Cedric Lewis. Cedric Lewis went after that ball with one hand, tried to flick it in or pull it in, where Tony Massenberg will go after with both hands.
And now we're going to get a tee on Dickerson. He just slammed the basketball and has given the stare to Jerry Donahue. It didn't pay off. There was a foul call before the inbounds pass, and that caused Dickerson's anger. So Maryland kind of losing their composure here. And the officials trying to calm everybody down.
Well, obviously there's more emotion swirling on that floor than normal for an ACC semifinal tournament game. Here it's a nice pick. You really can't see out of your screen. There may be a push by Nard, a push-off by Nard, and then Dave Dickerson slams the ball down in disgust at the call. But again, with the type of emotion that's swirling around, it's more than just a basketball game at this point. With your coach in the hospital under the weather, players very close to their coach recognize that, you know, they want to win this one badly. But again, you got to channel that type of emotion into action, and action on the court, and that means playing basketball.
Ron Bradley and Jeff Atkins sit down Dickerson, and Paul Houseman goes over to have a few words with both assistant coaches, as if to say, coaches, let's keep your guys in line. We don't want an ugly game here. We're at the 13:35 mark. First half, 10-5 North Carolina after Lebo hit the technical foul shot. Madden wasn't a factor yesterday, missed the jumper, and it'll be Maryland basketball.
And with Maryland in such an emotional state right now, this is a prime opportunity for Carolina to really focus on creating turnovers, getting down on the break, and really hit them while they're down, because the longer Maryland can stay in this game within 5-8 points, the more confident they'll become.
Good pass as Lewis is fouled in the lane. And I think it's going to be on Lebo. It will be a second. Let's wait and see the call. It will be on Lebo, as trying to strip Lewis of the basketball en route to the hoop. He got his arm. So Lewis, the first man off the bench. And you see Massenberg and Dickerson there, two of the stars from yesterday's win. And Massenberg is out with 2 personal fouls, not wanting to pick up the third early.
And one of the things that's lost in all of this is that Maryland is playing without their leading scorer, freshman Gerard Mustaf. And now with Dickerson and Massenberg on the bench, Maryland is going to be sorely tested up front. Lewis going to the basket with aggression right there.
Good job by Walt Williams to keep the ball alive for Maryland, as Lewis was 1 for 2 from the line. That cuts the Carolina lead to 4, and Maryland still with possession, so they can bring it down to a 2-point ball game. Williams has been steady so far, gets up in the air, and he's fouled by Davis.
Well, that time Davis bailed Walt Williams out. Walt Williams couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to shoot or he wanted to pass. A little bump by Davis bailed him out, because now he gets an opportunity to shoot a free throw. Nice steal by Williams coming across the lane. Again, Carolina players are taking rebounds for granted at times and not really going after it. Williams comes around here. No block out by J.R. Reed.
Back in the live action, a double team and an offensive foul on Nard, who leaned in trying to break that pressure of North Carolina yesterday, and he's matched that with that bucket.
Excellent ball movement by Carolina. Not one player out there forced a shot, even though they had some opportunities after they faked and put it on the floor, but they moved it around and found the open man.
So the biggest lead of the game, 8 points. The Carolina advantage right now. Johnson drives on J.R. Reed, loses the handle, going up, another Maryland turnover. Back-to-back turnovers, and here comes King Rice on the run. Bucknall in low to Reed. His hook shot is short. The rebound comes off, and Johnson lost it to Fox. So North Carolina with a fresh 45 and a new chance. Rice gets it right back to J.R. Reed.
Rice got away with a little bit of steps there.
J.R. may have gotten away with a lane violation. I don't think he ever moved after kicking that pass out. At any rate, on the other end, Maryland comes up short. Lewis gets the rebound. Still no good. And J.R. Reed's got another rebound for North Carolina.
Cedric Lewis falling away from the basket rather than jumping towards it after a nice offensive rebound.
There's Bucknall again with that set shot you talked about. Lenny missed this one, and J.R. Reed in the right place for North Carolina. King Rice for 3.
And Greg Nard's defense is not enough, at least the type of defense that he played that time. Again, he didn't contest King Rice. He just had his hand up, maybe lazily, and didn't really expect him to put it up.
The North Carolina lead is ballooned to 11. Massenberg into Lewis in the paint. He misses from short range, maybe intimidated by Reed. Tried to save it, and Rice comes away for North Carolina. Fox, nice move on the baseline, but he lost the handle on the dribble. North Carolina brings in Chilcutt.
Nice move by Fox, but good defense by Dave Dickerson. He stepped behind. He didn't make any contact, but forced Fox maybe to dribble out a little further than he wanted to.
Lewis gets a breather. Williams and Chilcutt have entered the lineup for North Carolina as they lead by 11. Their biggest margin of the ball game, 17-6, with under 10 minutes to go first half.
Maryland big guys, particularly with Tony Massenberg on the verge of foul trouble, seem to be a little timid in going to the basket. That time you see Dave Dickerson was pushed, and a combination of push and slip.
Rice with the shove in the back. We'll see it here.
Combination of push and slip, obviously.
On top. Bucknall there with him in North Carolina's man-to-man defense. Nard will take the open jumper. Short. Williams will hustle on the baseline for the rebound for North Carolina.
Maryland still with 3 guys back at that point. Carolina can't really get into a running game yet.
Fox had a big first half yesterday in the win over Georgia Tech. So did Lebo. Lebo fakes the shot from the outside. Maybe 1 too many passes again, but that time it's knocked away by Maryland. So North Carolina.
A picture of Tommy Amaker and Bob Bender of the Duke coaching staff checking things out, recognizing that they may have an opportunity to play either of these 2 teams tomorrow if they win tonight.
Duke plays Virginia in the second game today. This time can't get to the basketball, and it'll go back to Maryland. 8 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the first half. North Carolina with a 17-6 lead for Dean Smith, who won his 50th ACC tournament game yesterday. In the SEC, Florida, after a close victory over Georgia, up over the Vols at home in Knoxville. And in the Big Ten, how about this one? Indiana, Big Ten champion, trailing.
On that play, as I spoke about before, when Cedric Lewis was going to the basket, he was falling away a bit timid. Tony Massenberg is a man here underneath the boards as he goes strong to the basket. And this is how you draw fouls. Usually it's the aggressive actor who gets...
And Lewis is checked back in for the Terrapins. Fox gets it in low to Chilcutt. He kicks it right back out inside to Bucknall. They work it around the perimeter, and Lebo tries to finish it from 3-point range. Doesn't get it. But North Carolina picks up another loose rebound.
Before blackout by Maryland Bigman.
Williams goes up strong and scores, and he's fouled. Completes the 3-point play. Fox and Chilcutt sit down for North Carolina. J.R. Reed, Kevin Madden come back in. Williams stuck in the backcourt to the double team. Got it ahead to Nard. And Maryland trailing by 13. It's the widest margin we've seen. 20-7 with 7:44 to go first half.
And obviously this is not the situation that Maryland wants to be in at any time, but particularly now when they're playing a slower pace, because those 13 points are more like 26 when you're milking so much time off the clock.
Dickerson way over, and Williams picks up the air ball. Back comes Lebo in North Carolina. Bucknall got it in a seam to J.R. Reed somehow. Partially a good pass and a little bit of luck on top of it. And 6.
Ball up and down the court, but they've got to slow it down and take shots that are available to them.
North Carolina's only shooting 35%, but Maryland is right now 3 out of 16. Turnaround jump shot in the baseline by Williams. He's got 5. And again, it's a 15-point Carolina lead. Under 6.5 minutes to go first half. Brad Nessler and Len Elmore with you. Semifinal action here, the 36th annual ACC tournament. J.R. Reed's going to pick up the foul as Williams trying to drive around him.
And that's an interesting...
At the free throw line. See Williams' numbers, a 60% free throw shooter. Maryland leads every free throw and every easy shot they can get. He missed the second. And Rice will bring it up for North Carolina. Bucknall lobs underneath. Williams is alone, but he missed it in close, and Massenberg pulls it away.
You see Bucknall run down court with somewhat of a reaction. He wanted that assist. He is the assist leader on the Carolina team, and that was a nice pass inside.
On the other end, Massenberg comes up short, and Williams pulls it off the net. Tried to get it ahead to Madden, and it's stolen by Williams. Williams comes right back. It's Massenberg again. Still no good. Williams got a nice rebound on the baseline. Uh-oh, look out. Through the ball. And Williams is hot and tempers Flair again. John Moreau jumps in that time to calm things down.
always been a rivalry. Here, Tony Massenberg, unfortunately, seems to be trying to do everything himself. Now, that wasn't a very sportsmanlike play by Scott Williams, and as he grabs the guy and slaps him, he thinks it's a joke. Obviously, Walt Williams doesn't believe so. Walt Williams has a lot of heart, and he also has a lot riding on this game, in that Maryland is definitely primed.
On the day, Maryland is 4 of 7 from the free throw line. That's where they've gotten the majority of their points.
Now, Brandon, speaking of Bob Wade yesterday and analyzing yesterday's game plan, one thing that they accomplished, and I'm speaking of Maryland, is cutting the game into intervals, 4-minute intervals, and accomplishing maybe winning each of those intervals or a majority of those intervals. And that takes an awful lot of discipline, and it takes a strong personality such as a Bob Wade to kind of pull that together and keep these guys within those intervals. Now, you know, you wonder if Ron Bradley and Jeff Atkins, who are fine men, however, they may not have the type of personality that will keep these guys focused. And that's one of the things that seems to have gotten away from Maryland. Right now, you see Ron Bradley talking to Walt.
I guess Paul Hausman talking with him. Lebo hasn't missed a free throw forever. And Lebo, an 88% free throw shooter, is 3 for 3, and they've all been technical free throws. And it's now 26-12, so we've got everything straightened out. The coaches sit back down. Williams both take a seat, Scott and Walt respectively, after their heated exchange. And J.R. Reed inside missed close, and Dickerson pulls it off for Maryland.
Well, the other old adage is to let sleeping dogs lie, and if Carolina arouses this Maryland team, undermanned as they may be, the fact of the matter is they're still athletes, and they played with emotion yesterday. They might summon up whatever they have left to really make a game out of this.
Dickerson goes against Madden, leaves it off for Massa this year. 61+% free throw shooter, but he didn't get the job done that time. And North Carolina comes back with a 26-12 lead. Dickerson knocks it away. Maryland each trying to advance to the ACC tournament final tomorrow. And remember, we have Virginia and Duke yet to come. Chilcutt got it in low, left it off for J.R. Reed.
He's passing over a particular defense.
Saw a couple other tournaments. He remains perfect. 4 for 28-12, a 16-point cushion with under 5 minutes to go in the half. Williams takes it down on Bucknall. Now back on top. Rice picks up Johnson closely. Massenberg, so far not the factor he was yesterday, but remember, he's had to go up against J.R. Reed and Scott Williams. Another turnover. Dickerson lost the handle, and King Rice brings it down.
Bad pass by Massenberg, threw it down at the shoelaces.
Reed tried to get it back out to Madden, and he was heading in the other direction. Walt Williams for Maryland. Here comes North Carolina. Bucknall against Johnson one-on-one, but he leaves it for Chilcutt, and he missed the slam. Bucknall pulls down the rebound, though, and says slow it down to King Rice.
And you have to recognize the pace of this game, the sometimes sloppy play of this game becomes infectious.
North Carolina not playing as well as they did yesterday, and obviously neither is Maryland. J.R. Reed is 5.
The ball to be thrown in before they start to play. Some things established, and one is to play defense inside.
J.R. Reed missed both free throws after hitting his first 4 in a row, so that gives a little bit of life to Maryland. Still, though, they trail by 16. 3.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. The trap, Massenberg gets it back out to Williams.
Really not much movement on the weak side, and Maryland gets the ball in the top corner on the right or left side. The other side does not much to occupy the help side defenders, and they're free to roam the passing lane.
Lewis is having trouble getting free inside. Fox on him. The shot clock works inside. 10 seconds. Johnson's jumper will go. Johnson, of course, was a big factor yesterday with 23, and that's his first field goal of the day.
And it was that pattern, that type of controlled movement of the ball, and then allowing Johnson to go one-on-one and help Maryland get the lead that they had yesterday also.
Bucknall cross courts at Lebo for 3, no good. And J.R. Reed tips it in.
And again, no block out, not even a contest inside for rebounding positioning. And as I said before, Ron Bradley is going to speak to his team about blocking out. That's something you have to be aware of.
J.R. Reed in double figures with 10. Outside, Dickerson hits the front of the iron, and Fox takes off the weak side rebound. Here comes North Carolina. Bucknell wanted to get it into J.R. Reed, and again, Reed was heading right, and the pass went to the left.
That's a Western Union pass right there.
And we got a whistle. Fox at the line. He's 2 for 2 so far from the free throw line. Make it 3 for 3.
One shot, Turtle.
He averaged 16 points a game during the regular season in the 2 matchups with Maryland. Fox hits both. Authorized duplication or reception of this broadcast without the express written permission of Raycom Sports, Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions is prohibited. Brad Nessler and Len Elmore with you with just over 2 minutes, now under 2 minutes to play in our first semifinal of the afternoon. The field goal shooting has been horrendous for Maryland at 19%. Carolina not that great at 35%. But the turnover factor has played a role too, and Maryland just had another one. Their 10th of the first half, and North Carolina brings it down with the hefty 18-point lead. Fox got it cross court to Chilcutt. He goes up with the left hand and missed in close. Pulls off the rebound, and Chilcutt without a point so far. Just changed that. And North Carolina now 12 out of 14 from the free throw line.
You really get the impression again that Maryland may be suffering from somewhat of an emotional letdown, and they're going at this point.
Throw that all in a big pot, and you've got a 20-point North Carolina lead, 34-14. Just over a minute to go, first half. Williams back on top to Johnson. Nard will take the three-pointer, and he's short with it. Too much hesitation with the shot, it appeared. Try to pick up the loose ball and knocked it out of bounds. Point cushion. We'll bring it up in the person of King Rice.
It's Maryland's defensive reaction right now that bears some watching. They still got to get out here and play defense. This is what gets you back in the game. This is what creates momentum, and we'll see if they really want it.
J.R. Reed somehow handled that pass on the baseline. Fox pulls up from 8 off the glass and scores. Fox first field goal. That's now 22-point North Carolina lead as we approach halftime. Down to 28 seconds remaining in the half. You see the game clock there. Pass in to Massenberg. He's double teamed, kicks it back out. Williams will take the long shot, doesn't go. Ball still loose, and Williams will have another chance. And we're down to 10 seconds in the half.
It takes Greg Nard to recognize that the shot clock has run down.
And Fox with a steal. He might have time. He does. The jam at halftime is good. And it's a 38-14 North Carolina lead. So the Tar Heels are running it up on the Maryland Terrapins as
Pratt picks up the dribble, and Rick Fox steps into the passing lane nicely. Nard didn't even have an idea, a clue that Rick Fox was going to step in. He just gave the ball up.
38-14, our halftime score. The first half of this ACC tournament game was brought to you by Days Inn.
Bucknell ready for a layup. The way the ball was going to come off, it looked as though it was going to come off short. And Dave Dickerson hustling, that's the type of play you want to see. You got to make the attempt now.
Bucknell off the glass scores. So Bucknell with back-to-back buckets, actually one on the goaltending. That time it stretches it to 51-33. North Carolina by 18. Dickerson will take the three-pointer. This one's no good. Lebo, did he touch it or not? Yes, he did. Got a fingertip on it, so Maryland will have it on the baseline. Jeff Lebo tried to save that one and couldn't handle it.
Now, while Maryland's trying to pick up the tempo, the fact of the matter is they still have to take good shots, and Dave Dickerson's got to explore the offense.
Big Ten's been a tough conference. Indiana, the Big Ten champs, but Iowa picks them off today by 17. Of course, they don't have a tournament, so Indiana already wrapped up that crown. 12:15 to go in the ball game. Chilcutt out to Lebo. Now Williams on the baseline. Nice ball movement there for North Carolina.
The Maryland defense on now what was called the help side didn't shift over in time to get to Scott Williams.
Carolina on a 6-0 run. And it's back to a 20-point lead. Massenberg with 8 this half, 13 for the game.
And the same thing can be said for the Carolina help side defense. Scott Williams trying to front Tony Massenberg when the ball's in the corner. The ball gets whipped out to the top. He's caught on the high side. It's easy to lob over to Tony Massenberg. The weak side help for Carolina's got to get there.
Williams leads it for Jeff Lebo. Bucknall on the outside. Looks in. North Carolina taking their time. A whistle and a foul on the baseline. I believe it'll be called on Nard. Jerry Donahue made the call. Nard's going to pick.
Because there are many times you can't get that kind of positioning without being in there a little bit too long.
Remember the time earlier when JR had it in the lane, kicked it out to Bucknall, and Bucknall got it back to him. And we made mention of the fact that it seemed like JR was camped in there. That turnover, by the way, on the lane violation, the 8th of the half for North Carolina, and Maryland's only turned it over once. Terrapins trying to cut into the big North Carolina lead. Williams, no good on the baseline. Scott Williams lost the handle, and Rice will pull it out. Does a dribbling act to keep it alive to Fox on the fly.
Rick Fox did a nice job of faking the pass in midair and still going up with it.
Fox has 8 points. And with 10:39 to go, it's 55-35. Back to a 20-point North Carolina lead. Remember, their biggest was 26 points in the first half. And they led by 24 at the break. Nard drives on Rice. A little height advantage helped him there.
Well, he also had an opportunity because what Carolina's doing now, their adjustment to Tony Massenberg, is when the ball goes to the corner and the player fronts him, the guard on the same side, the strong side, is now dropping the paint. Decided, well, I'm going to take it to him.
Smaller lineup now for Maryland. Jesse Martin checks in as Dickerson gets a breather. Lebo, Madden checked back in for North Carolina. Here's Lebo down low to Fox on the baseline. Missed. J.R. Reed tried to tip it. No basket. I think a push underneath on Madden.
By blocking out and holding your block out, force the player to push.
Now I realize that about 50% of the time I don't know who the foul's on. I just look at the expression on the players' faces and I know. That time I didn't see Madden on the baseline at all, but I saw the reaction after the whistle.
Remember the good old days when you had to raise
your hand, right? Outside shot by Johnson doesn't go. Rice pushes it up for North Carolina. Fox down into Madden. Madden double team, and he still muscled it in.
You said the magic word, strength. And Kevin Madden is built like a linebacker. A nice move inside. Good head and shoulders to the basket.
20-point North Carolina lead again, 57-37, as Nard puts it over the tall timber and scores on the baseline. And Greg Nard has had a good second half. 8 points in the ball game, all in this second stanza.
Well, you get the impression that when he sees King Rice, his eyes light up.
Likes that 3 or 4 inch height advantage, maybe a little extra quickness too. And no whistle as the ball aimlessly flies out of bounds. I don't know what the call is going to be.
Got their hand on it as Rick Fox lost, and he did. Walt Williams from behind, and the other grabbed him.
Thought it should have been Maryland's ball. It's not. North Carolina, and J.R. Reed at the inbound pass didn't have to go far. So J.R.'s got 17, which is what he had in both previous games against Maryland this year. Dickerson's three-pointer won't quite go, and J.R. Reed gets a foul on the other end.
And again, Cedric Lewis.
Three-point shooting, a 29% three-point shooting team, and they have only 1 trade a day, so that hasn't helped them much. And a turnover won't help either, as Williams stepped on the sideline.
I mean, I'm always amazed in today's game how often players step on the line. You know, practicing these plays, you should know where you are. And when you receive the ball, you should know that you're still on the court.
The only thing that I could see that should cause some confusion maybe at the Omni is the pro three-point line that's out there with the college games. The Hawks, of course, play their home games here, and in fact have a game tonight against the Miami Heat. So ACC basketball all afternoon, and the pros take over later this evening. Williams will sit down, and he's done a good job in this ball game, especially this half. Don't forget, we have Virginia and Duke coming up, our second semifinal, immediately following this ball game. Fox has a nice move. His 10-foot is good.
It's a bit of a mismatch. Rick Fox, who's an agile forward for Carolina. He's got Cedric Lewis, who's a good center, good young center, but needs to get quicker feet.
So Fox has got 12 points. J.R. Reed with 17. Bucknall has 7. Williams 11. So again, 3 players in double figures already for North Carolina. And when they've got 4 more in double figures, they just don't lose. And we're going to have a foul on Rick Fox. Nard finds Lewis all alone. He flies in and missed the jam. Fox says that he was hooked on the way to the hoop, but Fox picks up his 3rd personal.
That's a good play by Nard.
First point of this half. He's 2 for 3 from the line. Sophomore out of Temple Hills, Maryland. And he missed the second.
As I said, he's a good young center. In time, he'll learn that he'll have to finish those types of plays off. Nothing should stop him from dunking that ball when he has that type of opportunity.
61-40. There's a big guy that knows how to take advantage of the situation. Williams puts it in, and he has 13. And it's back to a 23-point North Carolina lead. Second biggest of the day.
Good bailout by Cedric Lewis. Jesse Martin, who's come in, he's a player who played center in high school and now has learned how to play the guard position. That's no mean task.
Dickerson took it and got the roll from about 13 feet away, and that is his first basket of the day, Len.
That's the kind of day it's been all for Maryland all day. Dave Dickerson, one of the heroes of yesterday's game, has been virtually unheard of today.
Approaching the 7-minute mark. Whistle, foul in low on Tony Massenberg.
Position not only missed the shot, but was able to tip it back in.
Maryland players, you can see the fatigue on their face right now. Remember, starters went the majority of the ball game yesterday and again today. Gerard Muskoff not in the ACC tournament due to an injury, so that hasn't helped either. Turnover Maryland, and right back Williams with another steal. His three-pointer's good.
I'll tell you, that's the second or third steal of that type that Williams has made, and Carolina outlet passers, they have to be aware that, if Maryland's going to do this with Walt Williams, you can imagine what a Duke of Virginia's going to do in a much tighter situation.
19-point game, and Maryland with...
And while the Terrapins have had bad reaction time in certain sequences, you can still see that they're all playing hard, and they really want to finish this season on a good note. They can hold their heads up as they leave this tournament right now, and this would be just as well to play Carolina hard for these last 4 minutes, and that'll be a good sign, bode very well for them in the future.
Tony Massenberg's jumper, his 19th point. Madden on the drive again, so Madden's doing it inside. He's got 6 points this half and 8 for the ball game. It's 70-51 at the 4-minute mark. 19-point North Carolina lead. Johnson got hit as he shot that. It's good. Carolina leading the way for the Tar Heels, who average having six players in double figures, and they've done that game in and game out, it seems. Maryland not giving up by any means. Dickerson got Madden up in the air. Good move to get the jumper off, but it won't drop for him. Chilcutt picks up the loose ball. 17-point North Carolina lead. Madden cuts through and up off the glass. Madden's played very well the second half.
And Tony Massenberg should have stepped up on that cut. It's something that you see developing, and as a center with no one behind you, you step up to force the player to go away from you and to deny that pass.
Madden again becomes the fourth Tar Heel in double figures. No good on the jumper. Massenberg's hook won't drop. Chilcutt's got his second straight rebound. And we mentioned when North Carolina's got 4 or more in double figures, they are 22-3 on the season, and they've got 4 right now in double digits, and a 72-53 lead under the 3-minute mark in this ball game.
Carolina going to their passing game right now. They recognize that they've got to get a little sharper right now because they're looking forward to a tough game tomorrow.
Take it! Reed is triple team. JR looking for a place to go, gets it back on top to Lebo. They'll run a little more clock, down to 15 on the shot clock. Bucknall one-on-ones Johnson, and the ball comes loose, and Williams has another loose ball. Nice thought by Nard, but Massenberg wasn't expecting the pass. This is the first of 2 semifinals here in the ACC tournament. Don't forget, right after this one, we've got Virginia and Duke coming up, and the winner will go on to meet North Carolina for the ACC title round tomorrow. North Carolina just 2 minutes and a few seconds away from another ACC tournament win for Dean Smith. It'll be number 51. Madden drives in with some authority, and Madden, his 12th point, a resounding stuff at the 2-minute mark.
But he had a lane that seemed as though the Red Sea had parted there.
Massenberg answers with a jumper on the other end. Massenberg has 21 under the 2-minute mark and on their way to the ACC title game. Maryland, though, has buckled it up in the second half and played much better. And after their surprise yesterday, maybe it isn't a surprise what's happening here. The bubble about to burst for Maryland, but boy, what a thrill they gave us yesterday with their upset over North Carolina State. And they yesterday in round one, becoming the first 8th-seeded team to pull off a win. Davis hits the free throw.
The little ruckus you hear in the background is the Carolina contingent kind of exchanging pleasantries with the Duke contingent.
Carolina fans with the Carolina blue and white pom-pom shaking and told the Duke section, and Duke is, of course, thinking that they're going to be in the title game if they can get by Virginia. And he hit the rest that he put up. And Rice connects with his first free throw of the day. 22-point ball game, and Rice, as North Carolina's emptied their bench with just under a minute and a half to play. Nard's three-pointer too hard. Rebound comes off to Davis. North Carolina runs it down. They should be in no hurry, but sometimes you can't tell reserve players who want to get
North Carolina.
It's a 72% team from the field, and they certainly have upped that percentage a little bit with their performance today. Tony Massenburg goes out. Who knows? He might be on the ACC All-Tournament team after his performance, leaving with 21 points. So Massenburg put together 2 great games, but not enough today.
And it's good to have players rewarded for effort.
Easy.
Martin's jumper off the glass. Point dropped. Hensley got the rig compared to yesterday, but I know she's happy that Carolina club. 81-55. Rebounds for JR, so every game he's played against Maryland this year, he has had 17 points. And Williams, as we mentioned, did a good job on the boards, had 13 points. 5 or 6 players, Fox being one of the younger, but the rest, of course, have seen tournament experience galore. They'll advance to the title game tomorrow against the winner of our second matchup. Here's a steal. And no good on the layup. Denny tries to clear it out now. Fred Kiger, Rick Baker keep us in order. They come up with things that we have to dig through books for. It's off the top of their head. No good on the jumper. 25 seconds to play. Green drives in, and he's fouled. Green hit.
I'll tell you what, we have been excited by a number of spurts here and there, but overall, sometimes you just get some teams that are overmatched, and we've been the lucky ones.
Oddly enough, it's the way the whole season and the whole tournament's gone. There's been some strange happenings in the ACC this year, and of course, there'll be a lot of ACC clubs in the NCAA tourney, too. We'll know more about that by Sunday night. Final seconds. Hensley, nice move on the baseline. He scores, and he's fouled with 1 second left. Tries to cap a 3-point play here. So North Carolina at this point has their biggest lead, and they're on their way to an 88-58 30-point win. Scores so far: Maryland beat North Carolina State to get here yesterday, 71-49. Then North Carolina by 15 over Georgia Tech. Duke 88-64 over Wake Forest, and last night Virginia by 17 over Clemson, 90-73. So this will be the most lopsided of the games, as the North Carolina Tar Heels and Dean Smith his 51st ACC tournament victory. He shakes hands with the assistant coaches of the Maryland Terrapins, who fought, including Tony Massenburg there, as hard as they possibly could, but came up way short to a superior North Carolina team today. North Carolina, now with their 26th win of the season, advances to the ACC title game with an 88-58 win over the Terrapins of Maryland. We'll be back.